Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and the New York Knicks are going to be one of the final 8 teams to advance to the very first NBA in-season tournament, which I'm pretty sure they're going to rename it a cup of some kind. These are fashioned after all the cups that happen in European soccer. La Liga has like some name, whatever, and then there's in the Premier League, there's or in England they have the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, and they have like 3 different cups. And on top of that, they have the Champions League tournament. So they're used to overlaying different competitions above the main in-season tournament, or the regular season, should I say. And so this is exciting. I had a feeling it was going to work, having watched a lot of soccer and stuff, and I could tell that this was going to inject the excitement that exactly we saw tonight. What's happening right now? Right now, the Western Conference games are playing. It's exciting to see who's going to advance. Let's get to this part here. So you can see this is what's happening in the Eastern Conference. These are the current standings right now. The top 3 teams advance automatically, the ones who win their group. So Boston won Group C. They finished 3-1, and I'm pretty sure they won it because of point differential. And then Group B, that's our group. Milwaukee, even though they were shaky, it looked like they might even drop this game without Jimmy Butler to the Heat. But they were able at the last second to kind of regroup, but not the last second, but the last minute or two, regroup and pull that win out. And I believe they'll be the top seed. And then in Group A, the Pacers, Obi Toppin's Pacers are 4-0, and they're advancing. But the one sole wildcard team from the Eastern Conference that's going to advance is the New York Knicks with a plus 42 point differential. That is something to be proud of. I am very happy about this. I think this is going to be a great experience for the players. It already has been, especially if they move on further. I mean, just the whole excitement of it, it's great for them. It's great for them. It lights a fire on them. It keeps them thirsty for more. I love that about this. The very first game, I believe, is going to be played against Milwaukee. And actually, the way things are shaking out right now, that's the team I'd rather play than the Celtics at this moment. I still, even though Milwaukee was 4-0, you can see tonight they could barely beat a team without Jimmy Butler. So I got a feeling the Knicks will have a decent chance. We'll be much more prepared. We actually had a decent chance to win that first game against Milwaukee for a stretch there, and then until they finally folded. So this is going to be great. It's going to be a great challenge. Everything has lived up to the hype for this tournament except for the Knicks court. It's on TV. It's like, but it's not as bad as like the Bulls court. I mean, that one's just that red is just way too garish, and I love red. It's one of my favorites, but that's too crazy. But anyway, look at that. Celebrate. Let's go. Celebrate the moving on. It's a beautiful thing. I'm having an espresso martini. Let's go. Here we go. 115-91 over the Charlotte Hornets, who were still depleted. They're missing LaMelo, who'll be gone, unfortunately, for a long time. He re-injured his ankle. Sad to see. It's those Ball brothers, they just don't have longevity in their bodies in terms of being able to stay on the court for long stretches of time. Actually, I think LaMelo had surgery on that ankle. So either way, the Knicks took care of business, though they let it get a little too close for a stretch there. Let it get way too close. But let's get into it. Let's get to some highlights. How about that? I got highlights. I got some stats. Got some few things to say about this team in itself, because I'm still not over that Phoenix Suns loss. That's still unbelievably unacceptable to me for what kind of team this is. I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know what kind of team you think this is or whatever, or whether you're just like waiting and hoping that they do something that will surprise you, which is a great way to look at it too. Or where you're not filled with tremendous expectations. But that's not my job. And as a fan, that's not how I approach it as a fan. I look at the team, I see what kind of realistic chances they have, and then I base my feelings about how they perform on a night-to-night basis based upon that. Now, that can change and evolve over time if the team proves to be something else. This team, in my opinion, is a very good team, is an incredibly dangerous team, because this team has the ability in a 7-game series for 4 games, 4 of those 7 games against anybody. I don't give a fuck who it's against anybody. This team can beat any team in the NBA if they hit their 3-point shots and defend. Those are 2 musts. That's 48 minutes of hell on the court defensively, and they make their buckets from the 3-point line. Of course, to make your 3-point buckets, you have to be open. That means you have to penetrate get into the paint. You have to make defenses collapse. You have to make defenses rotate, switch. You have to make them double. You have to do all that stuff. All that beautiful Jalen Brunson stuff. Tonight we saw Emmanuel quickly go down the lane and finish with the left hand. We need that kind of stuff. We need Randle being the bully that he is. Go down and bully people down, but not overly ISO, not overly dribbling, which we did see some of that tonight. My point is, there are some excellent shooters on this team. They're not your prototypical snipers. We're not talking about, the Klay Thompsons of like 3 years ago or anybody like that, 4 years ago. We're not talking about that. We're talking about very good 3-point shooters that if they're open, they will hit their bucket. Dante DiVincenzo is one of them. Even Josh Hart, if he's open and in rhythm, I know he gave this whole song and dance speech that he's not a catch and shoot guy, whatever. Guess what? You play in the NBA. You're a guard. You're a catch and shoot guy. Everybody is. Everybody has to be. So I don't want to hear that. Anyway, Jalen Brunson, right now, what is he shooting? 40%? 50%? He might be shooting 50% from the 3-point line right now. I don't know. It's incredible. RJ hitting quickly. All these guys can hit the 3. Randle can hit the 3. There are plenty of 3-point shooters on this. Quentin Grimes, who actually technically might be our very best 3-point shooter, who hasn't really gotten unhooked yet, but tonight he had a nice game. So this team, when it clicks on all cylinders, it's just really difficult to beat because they can score in multiples of ways, and they hustle, they get the loose balls, they own the offensive glass, they're getting steals, they're getting blocks, all of that stuff makes this team incredibly dangerous. So when I see this team lose to a team like the Suns with only Booker, it really gives me pause. Tonight was a great win, though. We need to celebrate this. Absolutely. But I'm not letting go. I'm not forgetting the Suns' loss. But let's move on to the highlights. Here we go. The game got off to a pretty good start for the Knicks. They were already up 11-6 after about 5.5 minutes. And Julius was outstanding from the get-go in terms of shot making. Let's see. How did he start off? He started off pretty good. He started off with 11 points, 3 of 6 overall, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, got 4 rebounds. But did he have a night? He had a night for himself that'll probably go down in history because he finished with a 25 points and 20 rebounds. 20 rebounds. A guy who had, what did he have last game? 5 rebounds? He had 5 rebounds last game. Tonight he had 20. Outstanding. Yeah, there it is. 25, 20, and 5. And 5 dimes for the whole game. But in the first quarter, he was amazing already in the first quarter. Let's see. Overall, let's go back to this the quarter stats here. Nice, Josh Hart. I love the way he cuts in. Beautiful. Beautiful play. We know you're a shot maker. You're a playmaker, Josh Hart. But you have to also embrace the role that you're in. And it's really not that different from the role you had last year. I know Obi was out on the court and everything, but Obi wasn't a true power forward either. So look at that. Beautiful. I love that. When we get out on the break, fabulous. Fabulous. Here's this play here. Look at this. Now, finally, it looks like Brunson has made a concerted effort to start finding Mitch Robinson, which is we've been wanting that here. Brunson got off to a very quiet start in the first quarter. Only had 3 points, took 2 shots, hit his 1 3-pointer. But he finished with 3 assists. You can see right there. Well, that was actually probably in the third quarter. These highlights are the quicker ones, the shorter ones that came from, I think, came from the Knicks, New York Knicks site themselves. So it's a little quicker. Nice finish there from Mr. Randle. For the game, let's see. Let's go back to the third. Third quarter was a little shaky. They got off to a shaky start. They allowed Charlotte to get back in this game. And then look at that. Julius poking the ball away, running a fast break with Quentin Grimes. I think I've seen that. Never. I don't think I've ever seen that. So, fabulous. Fabulous. And look at Jalen Brunson. Always delivering, that guy. He had a nice little third quarter. Hit 3 of 4 overall. Hit one of his 2 3-point shots. Finished with 7 points. Another 3 assists in that third quarter. Julius was the high scorer with 8 points in that third quarter. And Josh Hart was second highest, tied with Brunson with 7 points there. Then when we moved into, the Knicks took control of this game as the third quarter went on and finished really strong. And then the fourth quarter, they just kind of ran away with it. RJ Barrett did not have a good game efficiency-wise. He missed a lot of shots that he normally makes, especially up close, though that was a beautiful finish there. But he went to the free throw line a multitude of times and hit. I don't think he missed a free throw. Nope. He went 9 for 9. Think of beauty. 9 for 9. How many times last season did we say, God, if he just hit 2 more free throws, boom, there they are. In fact, one of the reasons we lost that Phoenix Suns game is because people missed free throws. Brunson missed the tech, which I don't know why he took that tech. It should have been Emmanuel Quickly. Randle missed some free throws. People were missing free throws in that fourth quarter. It would have been a tie game. It would have forced the Suns to try to go for the tie instead of the win there in that last second if they had just hit their free throws like they did tonight. Let's see. For the game, Brunson only put up 9 shots. That's it. He had 7 assists, put up 9 shots, 12 points. He was a plus 20 overall. Hit 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, 40% he shot, which I think is less than his season average, shockingly. But Emmanuel Quickly, once again, big game for him in the second half. The first half, he got off a little cold. He only hit, in the first half, 1 of 5. He missed 4 shots in the first half. He missed both of his 3-point shots. Only had 2 points in about 10 minutes in that first half. But in the second half, Mr. Quickly exploded. He had 21 points in the second half on 8 of 15 shooting overall, 53.3%, and hit half of his 8 3-point attempts to finish 50% from there. 4 of 8. Beautiful. 21 points for him. When you look at that, it's just like, you just smile, get a warm feeling. All right, so the highlights have restarted over here. Let's get back to the stats over here. So let's move on. Well, let's get to some interesting things here. Like I told you right there, thanks to SNY Knicks, the Knicks will advance to the knockout round of the NBA in-season tournament as a wild card. Beautiful. Congratulations to this team. Hard-earned and well-deserved. Randle, great bounce-back game for him. 25, 20, and 5. Though I did see way too much dribbling at times, too much ISO stuff. However, against a team like Charlotte, it's not as critical because he can actually bully, the Miles Bridges and whoever they try to throw at him. He has a severe size, strength, and speed advantage over them. Even though Miles Bridges he's strong, he's good. He just doesn't have that kind of core strength that Randle does. Actually, Bridges has larger legs and a larger lower half. I would have thought that maybe that would help him kind of hold his position down low against Randle. Didn't matter. Randle would get in there, just shove it, and just blow him off the block. It was really, it was kind of textbook big man play by Randle tonight. So here we go. I was rounding off the stats while we were watching the highlights, but here you go. The high score of the game, as we know, was Julius Randle. A second high scorer was Quickly. He did need 20 shots to give us those 23 points. However, he started off, like I said, 1 of 5. So he really got cooking in that second half. Dante DiVincenzo, 19 minutes for him, 6 points, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Josh Hart, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 7 of 10 overall in his 30 minutes, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Excellent game for Josh Hart all around. And the irony is he played basically the way he played last season when he came over, which is basically the same role that he has this season. So, sometimes we get into our own head. Sometimes we're definitely our own worst enemy. We start thinking, oh, this is not happening, that's not happening. But when you get a little bird's eye view, you realize, you know what, things aren't really that different. And he seemed to have settled in, and I loved what he gave tonight. It was outstanding. Same with iHeart. I mean, our bench, once again, tends to dominate. 14 minutes for iHeart, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 points. Beautifully done. Quentin Grimes hit 2 of 3 from the three-point line. And I collected at 1 assist. I'm sure that's the assist that we just saw with Randle. RJ Barrett, like I said, not a great shooting night for him, but going to the free throw line 9 times and hitting all 9 makes up for a lot of that 3 for 13, in my opinion. In his 28 minutes, he gave us 16 points, only 3 rebounds. I feel like he was rebounding constantly. Interesting. Brunson, like I said, 5 of 9. This is like a very quiet, efficient game for him. 12 points, 7 assists. We didn't need him to do his crazy heroics, which he almost won that game against the Suns. I actually buried that in the recap in the last recap. He actually it would have been the longest 3-point shot that I think I would ever have seen him make, but he almost made it. It just front rimmed it barely. That would have been a tremendous win, but it still wouldn't have erased the sting of letting the Suns even be around. Now, I called them scrubs, but I was more insulting the Knicks, not the Suns. There are no scrubs in the NBA. There are no real true scrubs in the NBA. Everybody can play, but you know what I'm talking about. These aren't the starters. These aren't the guys who get the big bucks. These aren't the guys who are responsible with securing a victory. These are the guys who are there to fill in minutes and play as well as they can. And they did. They exceeded that in that game, and they really punished us. And I'm still stinging from it. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. Let's move on here to the plus minus. Julius Randle, an outstanding plus 27. The Knicks outscored the Hornets by 27 while Julius was on the court. Brunson 18, Mitch Robinson 18, Brunson 20, a plus 20. RJ was an even, because part of the time when he was on the court, and we let the Hornets kind of feel like they could have had a chance, was actually when RJ was on the court there. Josh Hart, plus 25, is the second highest in plus minus, and Emmanuel Quickley, a plus 21. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that stat line. The Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Miller was their high scorer with 18 points. That kid is going to be the real deal. He's a player, no doubt. I can see him becoming an all-star very soon. I can, seriously. Not much else to talk about here with the Charlotte Hornets. We'll get to but they did shoot over 41% from the three-point line. And that's actually how they were able to stick around in this game. They hit 13 of 31. And here are the team stats. Let's see. The Knicks, only 21 assists tonight. Still better than they did the other night, but that's just not high enough. These guys got to be up in the 27, 28 range, up in there. Move that ball. The game started off with the ball moving a lot. I think the Knicks built a 16-point lead in that first quarter. They were just whipping that ball around, and then for some reason they go away from it. They start dribbling too much. They start isoing too much. I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. Who's responsible? Thibs? What the hell? Somebody. Wake up. Don't let this stuff happen. Stay focused on your game plan. The ball moves faster than feet. The ball helps. If the ball's moving, you're going to eventually find an open shot, and we saw it. There was one time where Randle was trying to iso on the right block. Couldn't get it. Found Brunson at the top of the key. Brunson swung it, I believe, to Hart, and then Hart swung it to the corner to, I believe it was RJ or Grimes, either one, and they hit it. Whoever it was, they hit it. And I did it twice. That's beautiful. That's the kind of ball movement, but that, again, went away at some point. Points off turnovers were pretty even, 23-20. There were a lot of turnovers in this game, 17 for Charlotte, 16 for us. In that respect, it wasn't necessarily sloppy play necessarily. It was just good. It was, aggressive defense really to try and force these turnovers. But there was some silly ones for sure. There's always a bunch in there. The other thing, steals. One thing I wanted to talk about is Mr. Mitchell Robinson. Mitch Robinson finished, 6 points, 10 boards, 6 blocks for Mitch Robinson tonight. 6 blocks and 2 steals. He had 8 stocks tonight. Awesome. Awesome for him. All right, I want to talk to you guys about this. So, Knicks have played 17 games. They're 10-7. They should have been 11-6, but they're 10-7. But currently, the Knicks, to give you an idea about, because I think this is a very, very good team. And I know there's a lot of people who don't believe that, and that's fine. That's beautiful, because if I end up being right, that means you're gonna have a big smile on your faces in a couple of months. And if you do feel similarly to me, then you're loving this run. So here we go. Knicks are currently in the Eastern Conference. They're currently 10-7, which is 5th overall in the Eastern Conference. Very close to what they were last season. They are currently 4th in the East in plus-minus differential. They're outscoring their opponents on an average of 4.9 points per game, which is 4th best in the East. That is 7th best in the entire NBA. 7th best in the entire NBA. In terms of fewest points allowed, the New York Knicks are number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Number 1 in fewest points allowed. This team last season, around this time, was struggling mightily in that stat. In terms of the entire NBA, they're 2nd. Only the Houston Rockets are allowing less points than the New York Knicks right now. 17 games. It's a decent amount. We're not that far from a quarter of the season. So these start to matter at this point. And then in terms of 3-point shooting, now I remember for a stretch there, the Knicks were number 1 in the NBA for a stretch there. But we've had some bad games, some bad 3-point shooting games. But that was also for like a 6 or 7 game stretch. In terms of the entire season, the Knicks are still shooting above 37% as a team. They're 37.3% from the 3-point line, which is good enough for 8th best in the NBA. Now, the stat that makes this team very special and dangerous. Well, the first one, the one I just read off. Well, the first one. The fewest points allowed. They don't give up points. But they score their points via 3 points, the 3-point shot. And they're doing it beautifully, efficiently, and they can improve on it. There's room to grow. Now, RJ's numbers are going to come down. Brunson's numbers are going to come down. But guys like Grimes, and DiVincenzo, and Hart, and Randle, I expect Randle's numbers to come up. And Quickly, I think Quickly's going to finish around 41.5% from the 3-point line by the end of this season. So I think the team can be a 38% 3-point shooting team, maybe better. I think that is very possible. But in terms of rebounding and offensive rebounding, Knicks are 2nd best in the entire NBA. 2nd best. And rebounds, they're 47.2 rebounds per game, which is good enough for 2nd best. And I believe it's Utah who's number 1. And then offensive rebounding, 13.8, which is 2nd best. So the Knicks are 2nd best in rebounding, 8th best in 3-point shooting, number 1 in points allowed in the East, number 2 overall in the NBA in that. And in points differential, they're 7th in the NBA. Those are incredible signs. And those are the key indicators to how good a team really is. Don't get caught up in the dunks and all that bullshit. Those stats, not letting teams score, and you putting that ball in the bucket from the 3-point line and hustling for rebounds and hustling for offensive rebounds, second chance points, all of that stuff, that makes you a great team. the Knicks have the DNA to be a great team in terms of that type of efficiency. We'll see how far that takes them. They got a long way to go. A lot more games. All right, thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. I am into the Knicks-Verse. Please follow me on Twitter right here. Never going to call it that other name. Follow me on Twitter and follow the channel. Share this video. Tell people about Into the Knicks-Verse. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I used to do a lot of lives, and I'm going to try and get that going again. Still got something scheduled with Schwinny Poo. Hopefully we can make that happen soon. But we're going to get guests on here. We're going to get more deeper analysis now that we have a bit. After about game 20, doing some data mining really starts becoming important and valuable. So we're going to be doing that again. All right. Thank you for watching. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.